Welcome back to Conversation with Buddy. I'm your host, Buddy Puckett. Thank you so much for being here today. Well, it's summertime here in Oregon, and the sun's shining, so we love that. Today we have a guest. I've never met this lady before up until today. We should have met before. She's a real estate agent, a business owner, but we haven't met yet. So today, without further ado, let me introduce you to Mayra Rocha. Welcome.
Thank you, Buddy. Thank you for having me here today.
Thanks for being here. So Lucy Escobar connected you and I, is that right?
That's right.
And she's your coach?
She is.
Okay. And you said she's been coaching you for about 6 years?
Yeah, it's been 6 years.
So tell me about Lucy. I mean, I like Lucy. We had a great time on the podcast. She's just a wealth of knowledge. Sometimes it takes a while to get to know people, but man, when you finally do, like, wow, there's something really deep there. And so what do you like about Lucy? I want to hear about that.
Oh, Lucy, she's amazing. We met 6 years ago when I had just started my real estate career and really connected. You know, the way she does things, really cares about the community, really listens to you and what it is that you desire. And she makes it happen. Yeah. Right? So she helped me a lot, first of all, in the personal aspect of my life. Okay. Before she even deep dived into my business, she really just helped me in the personal level, making sure that she understood who Mayra was, why she wanted, why I desired what I did, and really understand my goals. And I see her, you know, like almost like a mother to me, like a second mother. She's been amazing. She's, you know, listens to you. Yeah. She really pushes you as well, you know? So that's what's really nice. Yeah. She will listen to you and figure out a plan, right? So it's been amazing to be able to work with her and to have her, you know, take me under her wing and just show me the possibilities of
what a gift. Yeah. No, I got that she's very sweet and nice, but man, she'll challenge you like, okay, you said you want to do this. I'm going to help you get there. Right. She will. And that's what a great coach does is like, because if this is a comfort zone, we got to be outside the comfort zone to win at life and win in marriage or win in whatever. So nothing happens in the comfort zone. Yeah. So, well, Mayra, I want to learn more about who you are too. I want to hear it all. So we typically start at the very beginning. So take me back. Where were you born? Tell me about your parents, siblings, those early days. What really impacted you?
Yeah. So I was born in Lindsay, California in 93. So I'm a little over 30 years now. I grew up being the oldest in our family. Parents come from Michoacan, Mexico. And I grew up, you know, going to school, being the oldest, really protective over my siblings. And didn't learn English actually until I was close to 10 years old. Being the oldest, you know, our primary language was in Spanish. And until I went into elementary school and started to, you know, have more friends and more people around me is really when I started to understand and really be able to speak the language. And I think that's a great gift of being able to be bilingual and something that I carry for my daughters as well, making sure that they can speak both languages and help so many more people. And so, yeah, I grew up, you know, being the oldest with a lot of responsibilities. Yeah. But also I was very grateful to have given so many opportunities. You know, I was very outgoing, always wanted to participate in choir and music, did some modeling. And my parents were always there to cheer me on. They were my biggest cheerleaders and really showed me that the sky was the limit. So they always tried to take me to as many places as they could. And I think that's really what shaped me today. At a really young age, I remember that I told my mom, you know, I want to start a business. And she said, well, okay, well, what do you want to sell? So I was only 10 years old. I'm like, maybe I'll start with candy. You know, there's a lot of kids in the neighborhood and we'll see how that goes. And she bought me all the candy and I started to put my business together out of our garage. And so, you know, I really started young with that entrepreneurship and seeing the possibilities.
I love that. I love that. So how many siblings do you have?
Yeah. So I have two siblings that are younger than me, and then I have a sister in Michigan as well.
Okay.
So my two youngest ones, one is Angel and one is Pedro.
Okay.
And they've always really, looked up to me. My second oldest is always saying like, oh, Mayra's like my attorney. If I have any issues, I just go to her.
Yeah.
And my youngest, he's like my baby. He was born with an intellectual disability, and just being able to help support him and be there for both of them has been amazing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so when did you move to U.S.? So you were born in
California.
You're born in California.
In Lindsay, California.
Gotcha,
so about a couple hours from Bakersfield.
Gotcha.
Are you familiar
I thought you grew up in Mexico. Maybe I misunderstood that.
No,
your parents did.
Yes, my parents did.
You got it.
From Michoacan, Mexico.
Gotcha.
And so I was born in Lindsay, California. I was over there for probably a couple of years.
Yeah.
A lot of my family is down here in Oregon, specifically Salem. And so we moved over here. I have lived down in Salem most of my life.
Yeah. Which high school did you go to?
I went to two high schools. So I went to McKay High School is where I graduated from here in Northeast Salem. Yep. But most of my life, I went to all the schools in the South Salem school district. So I guess it was still Salem Kaiser. But I went to Bush Elementary, which is no longer there. I think, let's see, it ended up being the parking lot, I believe, for the Salem emergency hospital. Yeah. So I went to Bush Elementary, I went to Leslie, and I went to South Salem. But graduated from McKay.
Gotcha. Tell me about some, like, your parents. Are your parents are still alive?
They are, yes.
Okay, they live here in Salem as well? Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me some of the lessons you learned from mom and dad that really defines who you are. I know you're a firstborn child. My wife and I have two daughters, and so I understand birth order. I love birth order because the firstborn typically is different than the secondborn. Same family, but birth order matters. So walk us through that. How are you wired? How did mom and dad, train you and coach you?
Yeah. So, they, their background was in farm work. So a lot of, like seasonal work and really hard, intensive labor work. They always told me, like, when you go to school, make sure that you, do the best you can, learn as much as you can, so that you can have more opportunities than what we did. Yeah. And that, to me, being able to see them come home, tired, and still be there for my presentations, for the choir, for the school meetings, for conferences, and really seeing all of their struggles that they went through really is what kind of built me the way I was built. And that's why I think the sky's the limit. If you really put the dedication and if there's a purpose, you can make anything happen.
That's right. Yeah. I love I was taught the same way. My parents were blue collar workers and they worked hard their whole life. And I think besides loving me and my sister, it was the hard work and dedication that our parents had. Just like your parents, they came home tired and still showed up at the events, and so that's really cool. Okay, you said you were in music growing up. Did you do sports as well, or just music only?
Yeah, I tried a little bit of sports. I did some soccer. I did volleyball, but I was really passionate more in the music. Okay. I played marimbanda.
Okay, what is that?
Marimbanda. It's like kind of like what would you call it? Like a xylophone, but these bigger.
Yeah, okay.
Wooden, you hit them and it makes beautiful music. Okay. So I played that in elementary years. And then I also played the clarinet. Okay. I played the violin and I played the guitar. I was in choir.
Wow. Okay. Which one do you do now though?
That's a great question. Yeah. So I did not continue. I like to sing. I just karaoke. I'm not best with singing. I feel like as I've grown and got so busy, I developed more of a passion for gardening and being outdoors.
Okay. So you went from music to gardening.
Yes.
No, I get that life changes and priorities change, and what was cool, back in middle school and high school, it changes. So, okay. Well, let's talk about the high school years. Were you a straight A student? You're a firstborn. Did you obey the rules? Did you rebel? I mean, I'm on the rebellion side. And so I always like to hear the stories like, girls were probably better students than the guys, you know. So tell us about your story.
Yeah. So
picking on you a little bit.
I know. I was not a, straight A student. I definitely had my challenges during school, especially with, writing and English and things like that, and it being my second language. But I was always, giving it my best. And I think that's sometimes we forget about, we focus so much on the results, but the pathway to get there, right? And I knew that I was definitely giving it my best. I was, BC student, never really a straight A student. As far as conduct, I was a really good child since very young up until today. I tried to follow the rules. And, I do remember, though, I was a little bit more of a loner at school.
Okay.
Kind of, because I sometimes didn't always fit in, I feel like.
Interesting. Were you introverted? Or just maybe fearful? What was that? A
little introverted, a little fearful. I wanted to make sure that I did everything right and that I always made my parents proud. Yeah. And I tend to do that by staying away, right? Trying to make sure that I remembered why I went to school, right?
Yeah. Do you think part of it was to not be influenced by other kids? Was that ever in your mind? Because I got to make sure and obey the parents and make them happy. And you probably see what kids are doing. Was there any part of that?
Yeah, I got to see a lot. There wasn't a lot of, I think things have changed definitely from back in the day when I was in school and from now. But I tended to stay away from trouble.
Good for you. Yeah. I found trouble. What's up with that? I don't know.
Did you look for trouble?
I was looking for trouble. Okay, what year did you graduate?
I graduated 2012.
2012. Okay. I know exactly how old you are. My daughter, one daughter graduated in 2015, one in 2017. So I can do math.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, very cool. You went through high school. What happened after high school? Did you want to go to college? Did you want to get married? What was that like?
Yeah. So after high school, I went to OSU.
OSU, go Beavs.
Yes, go Beavs. So I was there, we're going through some difficulties in our personal life with my parents and my younger brother, his health. And
what was going on?
Yeah, with my brother, it was just, he was born with, so aside from having the intellectual disability, he was born with all of his intestines out of place. So it was very challenging. Yeah. It was not affordable at the time to be able to continue my school there at OSU. And I started to work at a very young age. So once you start working, once you start being independent, you start questioning like, okay, I'm making money. I'm able to help. Maybe I should take this route for now. Yeah. And through doing that, I applied to one of the banks and worked there for a few years.
Which bank?
Yeah, Wells Fargo.
Wells Fargo.
Yeah,
okay,
Wells Fargo. Yeah. So I worked there. I was very blessed to have learned really about customer service and really making sure that you are, the finance of everything, like credit. Yeah. That's when credit was first introduced to me. Yeah. So that's where I learned all of that. And I was really fortunate to work at a local in the sense of it was a small, it was a bank inside of Safeway in Staten, Oregon.
Big city.
And so I got to work there and I was the only banker at the time. Yeah. So I got to really meet and really understand, the client's needs and everything that was coming through that door. I was the one that was helping, all the needs of our clients. And so I got to do a little bit of everything, trusts and, some like HELOCs and things like that. And that's really where I learned all of the my finance background.
That's funny. Okay.
Yeah.
How long did you do that?
So I did that for, I believe it was like from 2014 to about like 2016. So a couple years. Yeah. 2-3 years.
And did you find that wasn't your calling? Is that what happened?
So I got married.
Oh, okay.
Fell in love.
You fell in love. You met a guy. Okay.
I met a guy, Fabian, and, we got married. Yeah. Moved back to California because he had some family over there. and lived there for a couple of years, but we kept coming back. His background is in forestation.
Yeah.
So he was coming down to Oregon still to do Christmas tree harvest, planting of Christmas trees, and wildland firefighting. So somehow we kept, coming back to Oregon.
Yeah.
So finally we decided, you know what, we're just going to stay here in Oregon. And we ended up renting an apartment and staying here and just continue to build our roots.
Yeah, yeah. Well, how'd you meet this guy?
So I met him when I was down in Mexico, and he was actually at the time living in. We're pretty close. Our hometowns are pretty close to one another.
Yeah.
So that's where we originally met each other. And
in California.
In Mexico.
Oh, in Mexico.
When we would go to Mexico in December for vacation.
To visit family.
That's where we met.
No kidding.
And he was coming back to live. So he actually lived in South Carolina.
Okay.
And so, we continued that, just seeing each other and ended up getting married and having 2 beautiful daughters.
Okay. When did you guys get married?
We got married 2016.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you worked at the bank. So somewhere around the bank time, right after the bank, you meet this guy and you got married.
I got married. Yeah.
Okay. So you've been married for now 10 years.
Yeah, 10 years.
And you have
our
2 little girls.
Anniversary's coming.
What's that?
Our 10-year anniversary is coming.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
10 years flies by like that. Okay, tell us your girls' names again.
So my oldest is Alondra.
Yeah.
She's 9.
Okay.
And my youngest is Ariana.
Okay.
She's 2.
Wow. More kids coming, or are you guys done?
We'd like to have some more.
Okay. Yeah.
Definitely.
That's the blessing, right? To have kids. Talk to us about faith. What do you guys practice for faith? What's important to you?
Yeah, so we are Catholics. We grew and raised Catholics.
Yeah.
My daughter currently goes to a school there in Staten, where we live.
Okay,
and we try to go to church, as much as we can,
right.
and always believe in God and His plans, and very.
Amen.
Yeah.
You grew up Catholic, so is there a point in time where you feel like, our parents make us go to church when we were young, like, oh, I gotta go. Is there a point in time where you remember where that faith became just your own?
Yeah, so growing up, we got to be altar servers, very involved in church.
Yeah.
So I think at a very young age, I had that love and passion for going to church and really learning. And so I think it's ever since, I was young, when I was introduced, I've had my faith.
Yeah.
And
you believe.
I believed, yeah.
Yeah. How do you, and is it Fabian, your husband?
Yeah, Fabian.
How do you guys raise your kids? There's always, there's no real, the Bible does teach you, obviously, basic principles, but, until you have your kids, you don't know what to do. And how do you guys raise your kids in faith and just, everyday life? What's that look like?
Yeah. So, my oldest daughter, she's such a sweetheart. She's very attached to me.
Okay.
She is, kids are so different.
Yeah.
I feel like
same family, but very different.
Very different. She's a big believer as well. Ever since she was young, I had her at a Catholic school. Yeah. So when she started kindergarten, and she's just a wonderful, really sweet kid.
Yeah.
She is very friendly and really likes to be able to help others and support others and in any way that she can.
Yeah.
She loves pets and animals, and she loves gardening too.
Okay. She's learned from mom.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But she's also very analytical. She likes to know what's happening. She likes to know what she's gonna be having for lunch, and is always looking at her skylight calendar to see what's going on. And
really,
yeah.
And she's 9.
She's 9. Yeah.
Man, that's funny. Do you think she's more like you or your husband?
I think she's got a little bit of both.
Okay, a little bit of both.
Yeah. So she's really sweet. She's very likes to keep things in order.
Yeah. She's a firstborn, kind of.
She's a firstborn, yeah, and but so sweet. So she's got this soft spot in her.
Man, isn't that great? I love kids. I really do. Okay, you met this Fabian guy. What'd you like about Fabian? What was the characteristics that you liked or loved about him then, and then how does that look today? Sometimes marriage, we're guys, we kind of tend to forget, how we got the girl, know, but you're still married. You're excited about your 10-year. What's going on?
Yeah. He was handsome.
He's handsome.
I saw him ooh. Yeah, he's handsome. I think he still is today. I love him.
And you still feel that same way.
Yeah, I do. And, every marriage it's got its up and downs, right? But it's really making sure that you listen to one another, and it's kind of like a push and pull, right? You have days where, one is maybe down and figuring out how to cheer them up and bring them back up, and really just being able to support one another, because marriage isn't perfect and it's not meant to be perfect. But also understanding how to communicate. I think it's all about the communication and expectations and, plans. Like what are our goals this year and this season, and having those conversations, sitting down and really talking about it.
That's really good. Did you guys get counsel? I mean, you seem very wise at it. I think a lot of people in marriage, they don't have a clue, like, setting expectations. Let's plan out what this year looks like. Let's make some plans. Let's cast a vision. I like to ask questions too. What's your family look like in 10 years? Where do you live? Do you have more kids? I don't know. It's not that you'll necessarily get there, but it kind of gives you a North Star of where you want to go together, and even bring your kids along and go, hey kids, where would you like to be in 10 years?
Yeah.
They're just looking at Friday. Hey, is it Friday yet? Or is it Saturday? Or is it summertime? But really casting vision. I really like, but the word you said was expectations. I think I like to camp on that word, because we can have wrong expectations toward our spouse. Have you ever had that where it didn't go well?
Yeah, definitely. So it wasn't always this way. Yeah. Going back to coaching, right? It's all connected. What I mentioned earlier about, getting coaching first in the personal, right? Like what is, who are you surrounded by on your daily, day to day? And that's usually your partner, right? Your husband, your friends, who you surround yourself by. And I learned through coaching that everything is about planning. Everything is about communication. And I implemented that in my business, but I also implemented that in my personal life. Wow. I feel like I'm kind of the CEO of our family, right? Where we have to still do the planning, the meetings within our family to make sure that we get to where we want to be. So I think that with planning, it's nothing changes really, even if it's like personal life or your business. It all goes hand to hand.
Yeah. It's interesting. Lucy started out with you personally before she got into the business world. Because I think, if you have this most amazing business, but you have a horrible personal life, that's got to be miserable, right? Mm-hmm. Do you feel like that Lucy's helped you in your personal life, that actually, because your personal life is so good, your business life is even better?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. So she starts with the personal because she really wants to understand, your motives, like why you get up every morning, right? And sometimes that might be, in my case, it's because of my daughters, right? They're my biggest, treasure to me. Like they mean the world to me. And once you understand, why you do what you do, then you can apply it to how you're going to get there. Right. But you really have to understand your mission and what's important to you.
I find that, we all talk about mission and purpose and what gets you up in the morning. It's easy to get lost in the noise. Would you say life is busy. It's coming at us 100 miles an hour. Just think, you guys have already been married for 10 years. You probably think, well, it just feels like yesterday we got married. Now we have 2 kids and it's 10 years. How do you deal with the noise coming at you with life? You're in business. You're busy. How do you do it?
One season at a time.
Okay, back to planning. You plan. Yeah. Okay, what's a planning session look like? I want to learn this from you. How do you guys plan? Is it weekly? Is it monthly? Is it quarterly?
So we have different types of planning. So we do weekly planning. What are we going to...
You and Fabian.
Me and Fabian, yes. So Sundays is usually when we go over our schedule.
Okay.
See what that's going to look like. We, do our meal planning.
I like this.
We do... we go over, do the girls have any appointments?
Yeah.
Do they have any meetings? My oldest, she was part of the Almsville Corn Fest. So she had a lot of events and a lot of coordination that she needed. So just going over all of those things, you know, what is that week going to look like? And then we also do like quarterly planning as well. Like, what is the season? What do we want? What are our top 3 priorities? And just the same as I do in my business. So it's nice to be able to implement it in my business, but also with my family, you know, with my parents.
Even more important, more important than your business is your family.
Yeah. So really being able to understand them and have those difficult conversations and understand where they're coming from.
What, you have difficult conversations too?
I do. Can you believe it?
That's so weird. What would you say to people listening to the audience, you know, I like this. It's really good. Like, this is really cool. About this whole plan, like, is there a certain day of the week that is it a Saturday where you and Fabian go off? Is it Fabian with a B or a V?
With a B.
B, Fabian. Do you and Fabian take a Saturday, go away? What's that look like? I want you to speak to the audience and really just help them do the same thing, because I think this is really big. I think we miss this.
Yeah. So, you know, we don't have as much time together, like for one-on-one, just me and him.
Yeah.
But at least once a month, you know, we like to go to the winery and you know, once we drop off the girls to school, we'll set something so that we can go out there and just have a time for ourselves. And we love to go to Willamette Vineyards and explore a couple. Yep.
Okay.
Explore a couple different ones. And but so that's what we try to do. But also just with the daily day-to-days, you know, texting each other. And I think that has giving ourselves the space to be able to do our own thing and grow and still be there to help support when we need that.
Yeah, still stay connected. It's kind of like you're still dating.
Yeah.
In a way. You know, that's pretty cool. I like that. Well, I think, you know, as a married guy, you know, to my wife, we've been married for 34 years. We haven't always been great planners. We just kind of like, hey, what do you want to do? But really, we've been working hard, you know, setting aside time. And something that my wife and I started doing a couple years ago was I do a lot of coffees with guys, you know. And so my wife was like, hey, we always do coffees, would be like Friday morning. But she goes, I'd like to be your coffee the first week. So Monday morning at 7 a.m., we just do coffee for an hour and a half. I mean, there's no time limit. And we do a lot of that, talking about, hey, what do you want to do? We do, like, Sundays after church, we'll go to a coffee shop and we'll do some planning. We haven't always done that. But I'd say the last couple of years, we've really done a lot of that, a lot of joy in that. I think we're much better than we were before. So I like that.
Oh, no, that's awesome. Yeah, it's, you know, it's going to look different for everyone, right? It's just finding what works for you both. And giving yourself grace, you know, you have ups and downs, and it's okay just being able to communicate and listen to one another. We're
not good at giving ourselves grace, so we don't do that well, you know. We're pretty hard on ourselves, probably, right? So, all right, so you guys get married, you have some kids. After you guys get married, you're living here in Salem. You guys talk to us about that journey, because you guys are in business. Talk about the business that you guys do. You guys do a couple.
Yeah. So I started a business in wildland firefighting. So we have a background in reforestation and firefighting, you know, uncles that have been in the business since, you know, early 90s. And my family was, you know, always wanting to start something and wanting to do something. And, you know, after, you know, seeing them and working for the family, I'm like, you know what if I was able to open up our own business, our own reforestation company? Like, what opportunities would that bring for the family?
That's a great question.
You know, for my brother Pedro, he's under 30, 27 now.
Yeah.
And he was also really passionate about this. And I'm like, you know what? If I'm able to get, you know, everything going, and if I'm able to help support, you know, is this something that you would be interested in helping and partnering up with? And he was like, yes, you know, like I would definitely love that. Yeah. And so I did all the licensing and started to get all of the things together that were going to be needed, the logo, the business name and all of that stuff. And started that business. I managed it for about 3 years. We had a few, I think it was like 2 wildland firefighting crews, 20-person crews that went out to combat fires, different parts of Oregon and the state, and did that for a couple of years. But it was more than anything to be able to give something to my brother, for him to be able to, kind of cut those barriers, So once everything was ready to be transferred over to my brother, I let him take over, and he has done amazing with the company, really grown it, and really really proud of him.
So you just kind of helped him launch it, because that's you're probably really strong in that area, and you hand delivered to him something he could run with. And how cool is that?
Yeah,
what a blessing.
Yeah. So I was blessed to be able to do that, and he's grown a lot. He's grown, and it's wonderful to see where he started and where he's at now. Really having him get into that position, into that role of managing a company. It's not easy. There's really hard days, but he's done amazing, and I'm super proud of him.
Yeah. What makes fire? You said there's hard days. What's a hard day for him? What would that look like?
Yeah. So, with wildland firefighting, it's an on-call type of work. So, you can invest all this money in, crews and in training your crew. And there's a risk that you might not get called out in the whole season. So that's challenging, because you've invested so much into it, and you might not even have a chance. So that's one of the hard things. Also finding, just so many moving parts and so quickly. Like when you get that fire call, you might have to be ready and have your 20, crew personnel there in about an hour, ready to leave.
Okay.
And so it takes a lot on the back end. It takes a lot of calling, a lot of structure in order to get those crews out. And then also, they're out there combating wildland fires, having to deal with all of that. And so...
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, very cool. Very cool. Okay. So talk to me about your real estate business. So when did you decide, hey, I want to become a real estate agent, not just an agent, but an owner, a broker? Did you have to work for somebody else for a while before you could become your own broker?
Yeah.
Is that how that works? Isn't it like a 3-year time frame, and then you can become your own broker?
Yes.
Talk to us about that journey.
Yeah. So, I kind of going back to when I got married, right? I was at the bank. So I left that position when I moved to California. We had our first child, our first daughter, and got to be a stay-at-home mom for a couple of years. So I was very grateful for that, really creating that bond with my daughter and being there to help, through those baby years and that younger years for her. And once I was ready to go back to work, I applied again at the bank, and I was like, okay, well, this is what I know how to do. I was really good at it. Yeah. So I was very confident that I'd get the role, the position. And I went to, I had actually applied for customer service. So doing banking, but in, the customer service and phone banking. And surprisingly, I did not get the role. I didn't get the position. So I was very shocked. I was like, okay. I thought I did really good.
Back with Wells Fargo or a different bank?
Back with Wells Fargo, yeah.
So, I'm coming back.
Yeah, I'm coming back. I'm ready.
Yeah.
And so I was very shocked. I told my mom, I'm like, Mom, can you believe I did not get the position at Wells Fargo? And she's like, you know what? She's like, you have such great customer service. You're always doing what's great for the community and for your clients. And you should do real estate. And I was like, real estate? I'm like, okay. So I decided to, get the course, start the training and get my license. And once I was licensed, I had, interviewed a couple different brokerages, and I ended up going with the one that my mom had utilized when they bought their first home. And that was Tucasa Real Estate. So I was very blessed to be there, had an amazing principal broker, Jose Gonzalez. And, being there, I learned so much. It's a local brokerage, which I really liked. And, got to learn a lot there. And I kept, being, had some great conversations with a few other, bigger brokerages. And it was, the way I was approached was always about like, how many units have you closed, and I was approached because I was like a top producing agent, but they never really got to know me as a person. And that was very important to me, to be able to get to know the person first before you even look at their numbers and do all of that. And I had to make the decision. I'm like, okay, well, I want to build something different. And around that same time is when I met Lucy as well. And I was working with her, and she saw so much in me that maybe I didn't even see in myself.
That's what every coach does. They see something you don't see in yourself.
Yeah. And, it's really thanks to her, I feel like, why Rocha Realty exists, because of that belief that she had in me and being able to guide me. I consider Rocha Realty a boutique brokerage in the sense of we really care about our agents on onboarding process. Being able to give back to the agents and feel like they're being invested in. You don't necessarily have to be a top producing agent. You just have to have those same values, the integrity and wanting to help and serve your community.
That's right.
And that's really what we've been focusing on. We, have been in business for a little over 2 years. And sometimes, we've interviewed a few amazing agents, and a lot of the question is, well, why do you only have X amount of agents? If you are so amazing and have all these things that you offer. And there's intention behind that. We want to make sure that we take things slow and that we escalate in a way that we can give back to them, and we've brought in Lucy to not only help me with the business, but also each agent.
Wow.
So really giving that value to them.
That's
right?
a huge value.
To make sure that they grow and that they feel, again, like they're being invested in, and doing the strategic planning with them as well, and why they want to do what they want to do and why that matters to them.
Man, that's so good. Does Lucy have you reading lots of books, or is that something you normally do? Do you read motivational books? Is that important to you?
Yeah. So Lucy has gifted me some amazing books.
Yeah.
One of the things that has really helped me as well is being part of Lucy's mastermind.
Oh.
Yeah. So
that sounds pretty good.
No, she's been a huge blessing in my life, and then being a part of that mastermind as well. Just seeing all of these wonderful women business owners open up and really share their knowledge and share their, being open to guidance and support. And, what's really nice is and beautiful about Lucy is a lot of the women that are in this group are coaches, right? And she's not a gatekeeper. She loves to share knowledge. She loves to be able to help support the community and other people that have that desire to grow. And that's really what makes Lucy so amazing, and also being able to get you out of your comfort zone. So that's, I think, very important, as we mentioned before, in a coach.
Yeah, the world, people are built up either givers or takers, and Lucy is definitely a giver. So when you're in the mastermind, a couple things. How often do you guys do it? Is this just a women's group only? Is it real estate agents only? What does the mastermind consist of? And then what do you guys talk about?
Yeah, so we meet, so in the beginning, it's a year, and that we're in part of the mastermind. And in the beginning, we met about every 2 weeks.
Okay.
So twice a month.
Yeah.
And I think it was for the first 6 months. And then after that, we're meeting on a monthly basis.
Wow.
And we do read a book. So she had us reading a book consistently. And but aside from that, I mean, she's really helps us come together and see what values we want to, like what, not rules, but what's important to all of us. And we fill out like an application. And as far as like who is part of it, there's coaches, there's some in the banking industry. There is me in real estate. So very different
Yeah.
You know,
it's almost like a networking group in a way, but I like the word mastermind. Networking kind of like, you know, some networking groups just probably aren't a ton of fun. But I think if you go with the idea of learning and growing and being challenged, that's way more fun.
Yes. Yeah. She's great at doing that. And she's not afraid to really make sure that she sets those expectations and that she follows through with them. You know, and that's really what I love about Lucy is she's wonderful in every type of setting. You know, if she has to be kind of an observer in a room, she will be. If she needs to be up front, she will be. And she'll do amazing at anywhere she goes. I feel like she's just does so good.
Yeah. How many people are in your group?
So I think we started with 11 or 12, and now I think we have about 8.
Okay, yeah. People tend to leave and for whatever reason, but what's the recent book that you've read that you really liked?
So the recent one is Atomic Habits.
Come on, by James Clear.
Yep.
I've heard of that one before, yeah.
Have you read it yet?
A couple times.
Okay.
I mean, there's from just a business standpoint, I mean, I think my Bible is my first business book, but Atomic Habits, books like that, I mean, that's a top 5 book on just, you know, stacking your habits, you know, batching them together, you know. If you're going to brush your teeth, you might as well floss them too, you know, stack them. And then what do you do after that? So what are some lessons you learned from maybe Atomic Habits?
Yeah, it's just creating the habit, right? You can perfect it later, but just making sure that you build it. So, you know, one conversation I recently had with my agents is utilizing your calendar. You know, just make sure that at the end of the day, you're going back and making sure that your calendar actually, you know, shows all of the events on how you utilized your time. And, you know, I tell them some of that might be you watched a movie for 2 hours during the day because we are independent contractors, right? Yeah. It's not a, you know, type of job where you have to show up. But just making sure that they're tracking their time and how they're using it.
Track your time.
Tracking their time, yeah. So that's what I tell them, you know, it's just let's create that habit of making sure that you're inputting what you did in your calendar. Okay. And then later we'll look at how you're spending your time. But you can't know how you're spending your time if you don't have it in your calendar. Right. If your calendar looks blank, you did something. You just don't know what you did.
Yeah, it's kind of like tracking your food. If you don't write down what you ate last week, you won't remember.
Exactly.
You might go, I ate pretty good. Well, did you? Probably not.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a favorite podcast that you like listening to? How do you listen to Audible books when you're driving around? What does that look like?
Yeah, so I like to listen to audiobooks. Atomic Habits is one that I've had on repeat for the last few months.
I got to re-listen to it.
Yeah, so I don't really listen to a lot of music in the car. It's more my audiobooks and just on repeat. Every time I listen to something, I pick something different or I see something different depending on the season of life I'm in.
I think I've been guilty where, I read, you know, let's say 3 books a month, so 36 for the year, and you think, oh, yeah. But I can tell you one thing I actually implemented. It's just like the goal is to read the book. So now the goal is to read the book and actually implement something. So what I'm trying to do is, you know, I read a lot of books, a lot of Audible, a lot of physical books, because at night when I'm at home, I'll read 10 pages before I go to bed. But if I'm driving or at the gym, I'll have an Audible. And so... But I want to make sure I have my top 10 or 20 books on repeat. Kind of like what you're saying. Go back and re-listen to them because it's amazing. You know, I totally missed that. You know, you read a book, totally missed that. So, and then go implement. I'm reading a book right now. It's a mortgage related book. So, but it will still apply to you or anybody because it's the James Clear, the Atomic Habits of what to do. But just when you read a book, what this guy does, he writes down 10 takeaways that he learned from the book, and then he picks the top one, and he implements it, but he also has somebody hold him accountable to implement that one thing. I'm like, okay, because it's easy to go, I learned a few things. Okay, next book. But I want to be better about that. How about you? So what do you do when you read a book? How do you implement that?
Yeah, so I try to take at least one action out of each reading. Yep. So, you know, and it can be something little, right? It doesn't have to be something necessarily big, but I try to take at least one thing out of each, car drive that I'm in. And this week it was calendar, just making sure that I'm updating the calendar. If a meeting took longer than I thought it was going to take, making sure that gets updated. If I do have a little bit of free time in my calendar, but if I used it for, whatever it was that I used it, I need to make sure that I go back so that I can actually fill it in.
Okay. So if you took a nap from 12 to 1,
it's going to be in there.
It's going to be in there. Okay. Put your nap in there. I might do that. I might actually take a nap. But that's good, though. I mean, you're holding yourself accountable. Like, this is what I did. I scrolled Facebook. Okay. Maybe not the best thing, but that's what I did. I watched a movie, like you said. So, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. What's, okay, you've been in business for 6 years in real estate. You have any lofty goals, 10 years, I don't know. Yeah, tell me your goals.
Yeah. So in the next 3 years, I'd love to be able to grow the brokerage and be able to have anywhere between 10 to 15 agents. So the goal for this year was 7, and we currently have 6 agents. Yes. And it's half the year. So
come on. So you're somebody who you do set really clear goals. Like, by 3 years, you want this. This year, you wanted 7. You're at 6. You're halfway through. You're going to meet your goal.
I hope so.
I think it's going to happen. I'd probably bet money on it. So, well, that's really good, because I think I recently brought my daughter into our business, our mortgage business, and she's on her 9th week, right? She's drinking from a fire hose. There's a lot to learn, banking or real estate. And so, but we have a 3-year path also. Like, I want to give her 28 years of experience in 3 years. I go, are you in? She goes, yeah. Okay, we'll see. It's a lot of work. We're actually working a lot of Saturdays, but it's fun. I mean, we're actually, on Saturdays, we don't work with clients necessarily. We can, but it's project day. We're like, okay, what do we need to learn today? Is it scripting? Is it technical skill? What is it? And so we go grab a coffee. My wife comes down, and we actually let my wife, who doesn't do the business, she coaches us, because she can see from the outside what we need to be doing. It's been fun. So what advice would you give us?
Yeah, that's amazing. I love how you are working together and you are, collaborating, but you're also getting the input from your wife, who is seeing kind of the ups and downs. So I think you're doing amazing by having that structure where Saturday is like your planning day and learning. One thing that I've learned is it's all about the systems. It's all about the systems. If you're a small business or you're looking to scale, it's really that footprint, that blueprint that you're creating.
Okay.
And it's just repeat.
Yeah.
Right. Once you have that built, then you could scale. And that's really what I've been working on right now, just making sure that we have those systems. For our family, it means utilizing, like the skylight or any sort of calendar. I mean, you could have a whiteboard if you want to, but me being able to have the system and also being able to have the consistency, because sometimes we have all these wishes of like, this is what we want, things to look like. Right. And we can get really fancy and buy all the, equipment and things like that. But it's really just consistency and making sure that you have those systems. And it sounds like you do with Saturday, having that and then having that coaching, that opinion, and what better than to be able to do it within your family.
I've been in coaching of the 28 years, probably half of the time. Early on, I was like, I can figure this out, and you finally realize, I don't know what I'm doing. To scale, you have to delegate, you have to let go. And that's really difficult. But when my daughter got in the business, I thought, from day one, if you can learn the value of having a coach, it'll change your life. I go, you can choose to do it however you want. You don't have to. I'm not going to make you, but you should. Are you in? Yeah, I'm in. Okay, so she's all in on coaching from even before day one began. We already had her in coaching. So I love that you have a coach. I think you could be a coach. You probably are coaching your team. I mean, I think you have a lot of wisdom. So hope you know that.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's very intriguing. You're learning to scale your business. I mean, you since 10 years old, you've been thinking about business, right?
I have, yeah.
For a couple decades, you've been thinking, this is it. So,
yeah.
Okay. What's 20 years? I mean, does your besides the values and stuff, I get that's really important. That's your foundation. But now you're going to build the walls and put the trusses on, build the roof. What does 20 years look like on with your business?
Yeah. So, what you mentioned about the coaching. So right now on Tuesdays, I'm actually doing one-on-one coaching with my agents on a weekly basis.
Holy cow.
So
just one-on-one.
One-on-one, yes. So we bring in the strategic planning, which Lucy is the one that kind of does that. We also do like the DISC assessment, so that makes sure that we know the personalities of each of our agents so that we can better help support them as well. So really taking the time to make sure that I'm available for my agents and have any questions that they might have. They have my, personal number. They know they can call me at any time. They can come into my office whenever they need to. If they need me to be there for a home inspection, I will be there. If they need me to be there at an open house, I will be there. And
you're all in, aren't you?
Yes. And that's really what differentiates us. I've heard stories of, agents showing up to show a home and then they don't know how to open up the lockbox. Little things like that. And I'm like, no, I'll walk you through it. I will make sure that you have a good experience because I firmly believe that the agent success is the brokerage's success. So making sure that we're giving them what they need in order for them to be successful. And 20 years from now, I really envision myself being able to travel with my daughters. I want to be able to travel and I want to be able to help support my agents and continue to do what I do in a different place, with my daughters. And that's really what I see, doing is making sure that I help support them so that they reach their goals and continue to do that. Maybe it's a, Zoom meeting or like some sort of meetings that way, but I want to travel with my daughters. I want to also teach them how they can start a business. We started, the Christmas tree farm and they are really loving it. They're enjoying it and the possibilities. We want to do like a U-cut and open it up kind of like a pumpkin patch, but for Christmas. And, I envision them, by then they'll be, probably like 15 and my younger one will be 9 and, being able to, help, kind of the families that are going to be coming in, the community that's going to be coming in. Maybe they want to have like a little hot cocoa stand.
I'm seeing hot chocolate.
Projects.
It better be eating hot chocolate there. That's really what I want to know.
Yeah. Maybe we have, some activities, some decoration, ornament decoration. And that's really, that's more for them, and I want them
You're going to do for them what you kind of did with your brother. Help them launch so they can be their little gig.
Yeah.
And their kids are smart. They get this stuff.
Yeah.
Teach them early on. Something I learned from the book that really, probably to your point, is there's 9 words. Like when I'm coaching somebody, because a lot of times you're busy and you're trying to coach somebody. Like, okay, here's a task, go. You'll figure it out. But one thing is really it's 9 words. I do it. They get to watch me. So my daughter's been hopefully watching me, and hopefully I'm doing it good. And then we do it together, and then she does it. So I do it, we do it, they do it. Those 9 words. And what I've noticed that the learning curve it's much better because I can delegate something and just let her fumble through it for a week or a month or a year, or I can do it. We can do it together and then she can do it. And then I'll do a little assessment. Hey, great job. Here's what I noticed. Always start with positive. Never like, oh, that was horrible. You shouldn't have done that. Never that. Right. So I don't know. Still learning. That's, as business owners, we never stop learning or growing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I love what you just said about, starting with the positive.
Yeah.
And that's really what I learned about Lucy as well. Every session with her, it's let's talk about those wins. What went well this week. And that has helped me. That has helped, even like my mom, I'll be talking to my mom and I'll be like, hey, Mom, so what went well this week? And she's like,
what? Who are you?
Who am I speaking with? And then she
Coach
tells
Mayra.
me.
Coach Mayra, yeah.
And she tells me, my daughter, I'm like, hey, what went well this week? And she is excited to tell me about her day. And, even my youngest, when I get home, there's days where, I'll get home at 8 o'clock, at 9 o'clock from the office. And those warm hugs that they give me, of knowing that mommy is working hard, and because there's a vision, and they know, why we're doing what we're doing, and just being able to help support them as well, and seeing that, the sky's the limit, just like my parents taught me when I was little.
Yeah. So cool. Well, Mayra, we can talk about this for a long time. I love this. This is fun to talk about business. Okay, so so you and your husband own the reforestation together. Is he also part of your real estate business as well? Does he partake in that as well?
So he does help support in the way of goes and puts my signs up.
He's your sign guy.
He is my sign guy, and he does that.
Yeah.
He has been blessed to be able to be a part of our daughter's lives as well, and to be able to take them to those doctor's appointments because sometimes I'm not available.
Yeah.
And just seeing him create that bond with our daughters is just so special.
Daddy's little girls.
Daddy's little girls, yeah. And he'll send me videos when they're working out in the Christmas tree farm and just having a blast. And that has been a really big blessing to be able to have him help support me. So he's kind of like in the back end of the business. But he's a big component to being where I'm at today, because he's there help to support me and really just listening to my needs and making sure that the business grows, and so that way I can help support him as well with Arialo Reforestation, which is the wildland firefighting business that we opened just 2 years ago. So by him supporting me, by taking care of our daughters, I have some more time to kind of give back to his business and build that structure and those foundations that are needed in order to get started. So it's really about collaborating and making sure that we work together. Yeah.
In your real estate business, are you actively working on listings and buyers? Or do you just mainly run the business as a CEO and hire people to do that for your company? What's that look like?
Yeah, so I do a little bit of everything. I like to be involved, throughout the whole business in different areas. So the way I've been working with my agents as we're onboarding them is I like to bring them in, and we can co-list and we can be co-buyers agents, because it's really important for me for them to also be able to make some money while learning, right?
So good,
especially since they're coming from possibly like being a W-2 employee to now being an independent contractor. It can be a hard transition, and because you're not going to be making any funds essentially until there's a closing. So to me, it's important to be able to take care of them also, like in the personal, their personal lives, to make sure that they're making some money as well, but that also that they're learning, and that they're learning in a pace where they are truly understanding the contract, understanding everything in real estate, and making sure that they are comfortable, and familiar with the process, and being able to build their, kind of awareness of all the different components of the contract. So, but then at the same time, taking them out to the inspection, taking them out to the showing so that they know both parts. And so far, they've really liked that. But it really comes down to understanding their needs, right? Because everyone's a little bit different. So, but I do a little bit of everything. I do the coaching, but I also, bring the people that we need in order to make the business successful.
You're busy. Okay. Well, we're going to sign off here in just a moment. Final questions. What do you love about being a wife, and what do you love about being a mom? What's it mean to you?
Yeah. So a wife, it's beautiful to be able to connect with someone and still have so many differences at time, but still come together at the end of the night and be like, I chose you, you chose me, and we're still together. So I think that's beautiful. It can be challenging to have two different minds, two different, ways we grew up and things like that. But that's beautiful. At the end of the day, we're together and take it one day at a time. Being a mom has taught me so much. You know, I'm so blessed to be the mom of Ariana and Alondra and to be able to learn from them as well. You know, different personalities and being able to guide them and support them and see them grow and be there for them.
That's sweet. Yeah. It's a blessing to be a parent and the gift. And you mentioned that you're learning from your girls. I mean, it's funny that we think we're parents that we know all things, which we don't. But I think being humble enough and the joy of having kids that you can actually learn from your kids. Mm-hmm. Patience is one of them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But, well, Mayra, this has been really fantastic hearing your story. This is, I'm really encouraged. I mean, you're all in. I mean, you're really committed. Your clients must love you because they know that you care about them more than the commission you'll get from the deal, right? At the end of the day.
Yes.
So if somebody wanted to get a hold of you and connect with you, what's the best way? Is it a phone number? Is it a website? An email?
Yeah, so they can go to our website at www.rocharealty.net. Okay. My phone number as well. They can send me a message. They can call me, you know, really anytime. I always tell my clients, reach out, you know, send the message. Worst case, I'll get to you the next day if it's, you know, at midnight.
Yeah.
But just message me, you know, and we'll get back to you. So yeah, phone number 503-395-3885.
Cool. I'll put all that in the show notes for people to reach out. I think it'd be a blessing for people to come and work with you. So, yeah. Well, hey, thank you for being here this week. We just wrapped up episode 200. This is going to be roughly 202, I think. But we're just going to continue until God says don't do it anymore. But we're having fun. Join us. You know, invite 10 people to join our YouTube channel to hear more stories like Mayra just shared with you. I'm always encouraged. I never walk away going, man, that was boring. I just don't. I love people's stories. I hope you do as well. Mayra, very encouraged by your story. Thank you for sharing. Any last words of wisdom? Anything left?
Invest in yourself, you know, whether that's reading a book, whether that's just sitting down and getting to know yourself. Mm-hmm. Get to know yourself.
Get to know yourself. Okay. You heard it here. Thank you very much. We'll see you next week.